49ers versus Cowboys recap. Oh my God. I don't know if in the previous episode where we were previewing it, I don't remember if I said the Niners were going to make a statement, but Mike, were you paying attention to our fantasy group chat right before the game when Lorenzo was like, "Oh, it's about to be a dogfight right now," like preparing for the game, and I was like, I don't think it's going to be that close. I think the Niners are going to make it's going to be like a statement, right?
Yeah, I
And
did
then
notice
Tyler
that.
was also, Tyler was sort of, oh, the Cowboys want it more. And, if the Cowboys wanted it more, I think they had a funny way of showing it.
Yeah, for those watching, Lorenzo is a Cowboy fan and Tyler is a Charger fan.
Yeah, but Tyler's family is full of Cowboy fans.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. It's honestly hard for me to even say that this was a statement game. Like I get it because uh, you know, the Cowboys were kind of coming in other than the Cardinal game with a lot of hype. Um, but I think like in a way, yes, it feels like a statement game because this game um Jesus Christ, dude. What's the term
Wait,
for like
what?
it gave us the green light for the statement of this is the best team in football.
Mm-hmm. I
Like,
think it
yeah.
showed, I think it just showed how far beyond the 49ers are to the rest of the NFC.
We'll see about the Eagles, but yes.
Well, yeah, we will see. I think week 13 against the Eagles, but we just keep coming back to our weekly argument or our weekly debate about if the Niners were to play the Chiefs today, I
Mhm.
think. All right, here's my thing, and I keep saying this, and it showed in this Cowboys game, and I'll get back to like recapping the Cowboys game specifically. I don't think there is a viable way, as long as all these weapons can stay healthy and Brock Purdy can stay healthy. I don't think that there's a way that you can slow down this offense because you can't stop everybody at once. Purdy knows where he's going to go with the football. Shanahan has been in his bag. Well, he was in his bag this past week. Um, Shanahan's a great play caller. They it's impossible to guard all these guys when you have a quarterback who knows what he's doing, and Brock is proving that he knows what he's doing. It's been so amazing to watch Purdy play because this level of quarterbacking we have not seen, and I really want to give Purdy credit because I have been one of the people who has been extremely patient to appoint him. I have been willing to acknowledge that he's been playing great, but I'm like, all right, let's slow down before we say he's the long-term guy. He's the, for sure starter, gives this team the best chance to win and everything. Purdy is absolutely the right guy for this team because Purdy doesn't, I don't think he doesn't make it about himself. You know what I mean? He doesn't hold on to the ball for that long. I never see him get upset that, like about his stats the way that, maybe another quarterback might get, right?
Mhm.
He doesn't get down on himself for any reason. And, I guess the whole stats thing that I brought up, you mainly see that in basketball, not really in football. But you know, Purdy is just the level of play that you get from him versus the quarterbacks that have played before him in this Shanahan offense. It's night and day. I really believe that this is the 49ers year to go all the way and win it.
It certainly feels like it because, like I said, they are undeniably right now the best team in football. They're clicking on all cylinders. I mean, the reason why I said this doesn't feel like such a statement game. Now, granted, they did score 42 on the Dallas Cowboys defense. That's a statement, that is. But they haven't scored less than 30 all season. 30-7 against the Steelers, 30-23 against the Rams, which close game, 30-12 against the Giants, which was a closer game than expected, 35-16 against the Cardinals, another closer game than expected, but still 30 plus points in every game. And then this one finally was the first real blowout. Yeah, and I mean, I don't think the Browns are going to stop you guys. You got the Vikings after that. You guys are going to probably pummel the fuck out of them. Bengals game should be interesting. I'm going to be attending that game, and I hope it's a good game. I hope it's not 42-10 because I'm going to be sitting there like, God damn it! Like, it was fun in the first quarter, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to see some good games. I mean, but then Jags, Bucks, Seahawks, finally the Eagles, Seahawks, Cardinals, Ravens. That'll be interesting, but you'll kill them. Commanders, Rams. Like, you guys won't lose. If you guys continue this pace, you won't lose more than 3 games. You'll be the 1 seed. Unless you lose to the Eagles and they somehow lose less games. Or the same amount.
Okay, so call me crazy, but I really feel like this Niners team may have an opportunity to go undefeated. I don't know if I can ever pick somebody over them in any week this season. And obviously we'll learn more. It's just week 6. But I really feel this is absolutely better than the 2019 team that went to the Super Bowl. It's not even close.
Well, yes, because of the offense, but I still think that their defense isn't nearly as dominant. Now, Fred Warner, it almost felt like he was for sure dominating the game against the Cowboys. It almost felt like he was just doing everything. But still, as a collective defense, that 2019 defense was killing teams. And then pair that with the insane run game that you guys had, where you were rushing for it felt like 200 yards a game, which almost feels equivalent to what is happening now, except now you have more weapons, more places to throw the ball, and more specifically, McCaffrey as a weapon is massive, but also Purdy, how efficient he is under Shanahan relative to Jimmy G. That's the major difference, him and McCaffrey. And I think they are the two right now, for me, they are the two front runners for the MVP. You could hand it to McCaffrey, you can hand it to Purdy. But if the Niners keep this up, one of those two guys will get the MVP. If McCaffrey continues this 1 touchdown a game with half the time it being 3 touchdowns a game, he'll get it. He will break the mold. It will be the first non-quarterback in I don't know how long to win an MVP. And it'll be deserved. It'll be fucking deserved. But yes, I mean, that's the other thing about this team. I kind of gave up my answer already, but it's like they have by far this season the most dominant defense in the league. And yet their defense isn't the strength of their team. Their offense is. So they have the best defense, I think. I don't know if it is statistically, but it feels like they have the best defense in football. Probably not in the pass defense, but the run defense and just getting forcing turnovers. Like, they're probably the best at it this season. And yet their offense is, by far their strong suit. Because, like you said, every option that they have to pass to, Purdy efficiently is just amazing right now. He's had some bad throws, but regardless, it's different.
I think that the Niners currently have the number 2 ranked defense right now. I think it's to the Browns. I think the Browns have not allowed that many yards. I think they're the only team who's allowed less than 1,000 yards so far, but they also had a bye week this week. So
yeah, and my thing with the Niners defense, the only thing that they're not being essentially perfect in. I mean, it's not, they're not. It's not. You're not going to be perfect, but you know what I mean. As dominant in is their pass defense. Like they're kind of bending but not breaking. They're giving up pass. I mean, the Cardinals, Michael Wilson had 2 touchdowns. You're giving up receivers having like solid, like maybe 8 catch, 80-yard games. Puka Nacua week 2. Like they're allowing chunk yardage, especially in the passing game, and giving up enough points to like allow the opposing team to stay in the game and yet also never get a chance to win the game. It's really weird, but they're just very dominant. And specifically, again, their offense is dominant. So dominant right now. And it doesn't feel like they have a weakness. There maybe an offensive guard, I don't know, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the defense is still adjusting to Steve Wilks because they have been so used to having their defensive coordinator on the field, being able to talk to every single player that he needs to talk to, whereas Steve Wilks is in the booth, only being able to talk to the players that have the microphone in their helmet. And then the positional players have to do, the work on the sideline, communicating with Wilks and Shanahan. But one thing I want to say is you talked about the difference between this offense and 2019's offense. You forgot to mention Brandon Ayuk was not on the 2019 49ers either. He was drafted in 2020. So not only do you have McCaffrey, who is such no offense to Raheem Mostert or Tevin Coleman, but McCaffrey is just in a whole other stratosphere. He is a superstar. I mean, how many future Hall of Famers are on this 49ers team?
Funny enough, probably not as many as you think. It's McCaffrey. I think he should be. Fred Warner, probably. Nick Bosa, for sure. Trent Williams, maybe. I don't know. Like, he probably should be, but I feel like they're kind of fickle with offensive linemen,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Brandon Ayuk and Debo are yet to be determined. I don't think Debo will be.
No, I'm not even counting those guys. But still, if you have 4 future Hall of Famers on your team.
Potentially Purdy, but that's way too early.
No, way too early. Oh, my God.
But I'm just saying, you're saying future Hall of Famers on this team. He's an option.
I wish I could go to your house right now and slap you for saying that, Michael. Jeez.
It's early. You can't tell yet. The same for Ayuk. The same could be said for Ayuk. Yeah, like what I was going to say earlier, I never hinted that I was going to say this, but they're just so efficient on offense with Purdy. And, we were talking like preseason, this is their window. They have to win now. Their window is as long as Purdy is on his rookie contract, in my opinion. So that's this season, next season, and the following season, right? Because this is his second season. So you have this season plus 2 more on his rookie deal.
Yeah, but I think next year he's going to be eligible for an extension.
He's eligible, and they should sign him. But what they can do is they can sign him during his 4th season or before his 4th season, but it won't actually hit until after, or he'll get a big signing bonus, but it doesn't hit the cap.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. So you have until that 4th year.
I'm looking way too far ahead. Just a quick question. Don't even think too hard about this, but ponder this. If the 49ers do not win a Super Bowl while Brock Purdy is on his rookie contract, by the time he's eligible for an extension, if you don't win it, do you give him an extension? Yeah. But if you don't win it with Purdy, if you don't win it with Purdy, does that mean that you need Patrick Mahomes? Is that what that means? You know what I mean?
I think this is where a certain person deserves the respect that he hasn't gotten as much as he deserves.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Shanahan?
Yeah. Shanahan is a big reason for Purdy, and Purdy is a big reason for the success. But as long as Purdy plays the way that he's playing, you guys will be successful. if you have to, allow Trent Williams and Debo Samuel and maybe Talanoa Hufanga and Chavarius Ward to leave in 3 years from now, by then you might have drafted at least 2 of their replacements. And you still have Purdy and specifically Kyle Shanahan's offense. And maybe by then McCaffrey might be older and not as efficient and yada yada. But again, you might have drafted their replacement by then. So I just think as long as Purdy is playing as well as he is, there's absolutely zero reason, paired with Shanahan, who deserves a lot of credit for what is happening with this team. There's no reason to try to replace him. Like, you guys struck gold. You have 3 years to really enjoy that striking gold, and then even after that, you should still be celebrating it because he'll probably end up becoming, so long as Shanahan doesn't get silly and try to replace him because, cheap quarterback contracts, yada, yada. I'm so good at doing this. I'm going to draft another guy and totally hit gold again when Trey Lance didn't work out. It would be wise to just settle with striking gold and let it play out. And chances are Brock Purdy will end up being one of your top 3 all-time quarterbacks in franchise history.
I agree. I think you have to sign Purdy, but I guess I was sort of thinking like, all right, the Niners have the best roster, the best, one of the best play callers. They have everything. And if you don't win, all these play callers and everything, all these superstars are going to get old. And if Purdy can't win with these guys, who can he win with? That was just the question that, sort of popped in my mind. It's like, do you need an absolute, like, bona fide top 5 quarterback in order to win? I think Purdy's absolutely top 10. And I'm not saying you can't win with Purdy. I honestly believe the 49ers will win the Super Bowl this year. And it's very early to say that, and a lot of shit can happen between now and the Super Bowl, right?
Name a quarterback.
We've had bad luck for God knows how long. So yeah, I'm gonna look stupid probably by February for me saying this, but I really think I believe it in my heart more than I've ever believed it before that it's our year.
Yeah, it is early, and I don't blame you at all for feeling that way. And based off of what I see, even leading up to the Cowboys game, but especially post Cowboys game, it's just like, dude, there is not a team that's better than this. But I do feel that there are teams that can still
rival it.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs any given Sunday can beat anybody. That's a fact. Because they have great coaches and obviously great players. I think the Bills can do it. Not that I think the Bills are better, just I think they can. I know maybe you might really disagree with this, but I think the Dolphins can. And obviously the Eagles. But
I think the Dolphins can rival the Niners. Like, I didn't see the Dolphins game, and I know they lost. Did they lose last week? Was it last week when they lost?
Last week to the Bills. The Bills fucking killed them. But then this week they came back and they scored like 40 again or something.
So I could see where the Niners lose it on defense, but I can tell you for damn sure this offense is not going to lose them football games.
No, yeah. But I'm just saying I could see,
or at least not teams. Many, because yeah.
It's just possible. That's all I'm saying. It's possible that another team like the Bills, Chiefs, Dolphins, Eagles can go in there, not get a turnover, just play very efficient. They have to be essentially perfect at this rate with this Niners team. They'd have to play perfect, and they'd have to force turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
It can happen.
It
can. But I'm not saying it's very likely right now.
You wouldn't bet on it, right?
No, not right now. No.
Yeah.
So,
and I feel like in the next topic, when I preview the Browns, I'm going to completely contradict myself a little bit. But before we get to the Browns game, I just want to quickly mention the players who played extremely well in the Cowboys game. George Kittle had a hell of a game. He had 3 touchdowns. I want to say he had 3 catches for 3 touchdowns. He went crazy. And then after that, he pulls up his jersey and he's wearing a "Fuck Dallas" shirt. And I love it because I forget who the player was, but there's this famous Niner picture of this player holding up his jersey. He's got the "Fuck Dallas" shirt, like the exact same one that Kittle was wearing. So, I thought that was pretty cool. Purdy played.
I just got to say, Micah Parsons has a podcast, and I don't know what it's called, but I know he was on his podcast, today, I think, and it was mentioned to him about the George Kittle T-shirt, and I forget the terminology of what he said, but basically along the lines of,
"You're making it personal."
He said that?
Yeah, he said. He said. Here, I'll play it right now. I'll put it on.
Okay. Because he had a quote that was very good.
Okay, let's see here. Let me share my screen. Can you see it?
Yeah.
George Kittle had 3 touchdowns on us, and he posted this thing to IG. He said F Dallas. I just feel like he's making it way more personal than it had to be. Kittle's my guy, but I'm going to say this. Laugh now, cry later. We got something for that. Just trust. If we see them again, just trust. And we're going to put it just like that. I ain't going to put too much on it. You're going to make it personal. We can make it personal. That's cool.
George. Hey, man. You start doing that shit and you start poking at the bear, you're asking for shit. That's all I'm saying. I think you meet them in the playoffs, it's going to become way more personal for them for little shit like that in the regular season in week 5 when your team is clearly the best in football. And when you have everybody, down on their knees and beating the shit out of them, then you start taunting them and stuff. It's like, okay, well, we'll see later. We'll see.
I'm sorry, Mike, but there's nothing that the Dallas Cowboys are going to be able to do to this 49ers team.
Well, we'll see.
It was 42-10.
Right.
Like,
we'll see.
Dog, if you're making it personal. They bounced you from the playoffs 2 years in a row. It wasn't personal. What's going to motivate you more to want to beat them?
Doing little shit like that.
Because of a fucking T-shirt? Come on.
Yeah. Yes, it's only going to get more personal. I'm not saying Dallas will beat you guys. I'm just saying if you guys face them in the playoffs, that's going to be a fucking bloodbath.
For them.
Oh, all around. All around. You guys will probably win, but all around it will be a bloodbath.
I'm sorry, but I understand, he's offended. I think Micah Parsons is too young to understand the reference of the picture of the guy holding the "Fuck Dallas" T-shirt. It's literally a reference to that. I don't know. If you don't want Kittle to talk shit after the game, hey, stop him. Aren't you supposed to be one of the best defensive players in the league? I know that you don't cover Kittle, but get your guys in order.
Yeah, he's not the coach, which is probably their problem. McCarthy's offense looks like shit, but I don't know. It must be nice to have the best team in football right now, because if I were in a similar situation with my team, I wouldn't want my players doing that in week 5. I just wouldn't. Yeah, because I know how my luck runs out.
Yeah. What did Fonzie, I just saw in the comments, he said, Dak was mad, remember? One of the reporters asked Dak a question reminding him of the last time they saw the Niners, they got eliminated from the playoffs, and he said something along the lines of like, "Oh, you're gonna bring that up?" Yeah, like used it as like a chip on his shoulder. Like, all right, I don't care. There's not gonna be a chip on your shoulder big enough to defend this team. The laugh now, cry later could happen years down the line. You know what I mean? If they meet in the playoffs, I'm sorry, the Cowboys are getting spanked again.
Okay.
Mike.
Okay,
someone clip this. Someone clip this. Come on.
No, I'm not saying you guys won't lose. I'm just saying, like, it must be nice to feel that confident and cocky. Very cocky.
Dude, did you not see the game on Sunday night?
No,
How could I not feel cocky?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not even a matter of being cocky or anything. Like it's
okay,
just...
Here's my thing with Niner fans. Here's my thing.
They don't match up well.
Here's my thing with Niner fans. This goes family members, friends, and just hearing fans. Okay? You guys could be at the top of the fucking world and you'll still complain about your head coach. A lot. At the very same time, you guys will get tremendously cocky. Tremendously. It's
okay.
Like,
when recently have I complained about Shanahan? Recently.
Well, it probably dates back to Trey Lance getting traded and stuff, but
yeah, that was about it. That's really all I've ever complained about Shanahan, you know? And then also the fact that it's been how many years and we still don't have a Super Bowl and he's supposed to be a genius. Win it already. We have the best team. And I think it's finally going to happen. And we fucking mopped the floor with the Dallas Cowboys. And they have a good they have a good team. It wasn't like the Cowboys suck and we're over here like, just sort of rubbing it in their face. I think we learned more about the Niners than we did about the Cowboys. People are calling the Cowboys frauds. No, the Cowboys are exactly like, who we thought they were. They're a pretty good team, but the Niners are just in another stratosphere. That's just my honest belief, dude. And maybe the Niners don't win the Super Bowl, but I would be very hard-pressed to believe that the Cowboys are just going to sort of flip this switch and make the 49ers regret pulling up their jersey and revealing a T-shirt that said "Fuck Dallas."
Yeah, I've seen it before. I mean, we've seen an undefeated team go to the Super Bowl and lose to a team that I want to say the Giants might have been a wild card team. Any given Sunday is one of my firm beliefs in football. Yes, you're the best team in football, all that. But first off, it's week 5. We'll see how the playoffs go. But all I was getting at was just you're really kicking them while they're down. And if they come back and get another shot at you guys, they will give you everything that they possibly can in a playoff game. Okay, I think in week 5, when it's quarter 3 and you're already down like 30-10 or 30-3 or whatever it was, you can just throw in the fucking towel. Who cares? We lost. In the playoffs, it's not going to be like that. Anyways.
But hold on. Look, this was the reference. So I think Micah Parsons, since he's young, does not understand this reference. I forget who this player is, but this is like a classic picture. Right? And it's no secret that the 49ers and Cowboys have, I mean, they're arch rivals, right? So keeping a rivalry going by doing rivalry things is, in my opinion, that's fine. That's how you sell the game. I feel Micah Parsons took it in a way as if they were taking a shot at him. Like, yeah, it's at your team, but like Kittle didn't go on like a press run after the game. I didn't watch the post-game press conference, but you would have heard if Kittle was like talking shit, like, oh, that team over there is really fucking bad, shit like that. Like, all he did was reveal the shirt and it's just classic. Niner fans hate hate the Cowboys, and Cowboy fans hate the Niners. It's just it's a rivalry. So I don't think Kittle's making it personal. I just think that he is keeping the rivalry the tradition that it should be.
Yeah. I guess I should explain. You know my thinking towards the NFL, towards anything that is sports, right? What am I always the fan of if it's not the Raiders?
The Lions,
No. But, well, that goes in hand
the
with it.
underdog.
The underdog. I'm always a fan of the underdog, and I can tell you I'm not a very big fan in competition in anything of essentially kicking people while they're down. I just think it's kind of cheap. And I think my point here is if the role was reversed and it was 42-10 Dallas, you're not seeing that undershirt. You saw the undershirt because he just scored his third touchdown and it was now 42-10 or 37 or whatever it was. You know what I mean? And it's not like lifting your shirt is literally kicking a player while he's down, but it's like it's cockiness that has been earned, but it's also like, for me and my opinion of sport, it's like that just makes me want you to lose.
I mean, so be it, but like for me as a fan of the 49ers, I think it was fun. It's fun. I don't want to see like robots just like, playing the game, it being all robotic. These are humans. We have human emotions. There's backstories to the game. That'll just make the next game like, that much more exciting, right?
Yeah.
It's like, last time they did this, because back in the day, before the Niners ever won their first Super Bowl, the Cowboys, I think, had a statement game against the Niners and Bill Walsh's team and Joe Montana, and the Niners got embarrassed. And then the next year they came back and it was the NFC Championship game, and that's when the catch happened and the 49ers jump-started their dynasty. And Bill Walsh said, from what I remember from the Joe Montana documentary, Bill Walsh was like, I want you guys to remember this. He wanted them to remember that they got their asses kicked and they weren't going to lose to Dallas again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did the Niners make them pay that same season? No. The next season, yeah. And maybe Dallas later down the line. I mean, they have Trey Lance. Trey Lance could end up being a franchise quarterback haunting the 49ers for years to come. And then they can be rocking their fuck SF, shirts. If the Niners would have gotten spanked by Dallas, damn well every Cowboy fan would just be talking shit about the Niners. So it's just, it's a fun rivalry is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so no matter what side, whoever would be kicking the other while they're down.
Yeah, I don't know if the players fully would. And I'm not saying like all the players in the Niners were. And the last thing I'll say about it is just George Kittle is also very like WWE. So this is kind of like his thing, I think. Like not in a negative way. Like he is very performative. And yes. I've always loved Kittle, so that like this doesn't change my view on him or anything. It's just it's a rivalry, and it's kind of expected that you might see them in the playoffs. It's a little ballsy, but again, like I think I saw one of the comments from Fonzie say that's what being at the highest level entails. When you are the best team in football, you can go out there and be confident and cocky and show for it, and prove it and continue to win. So if they can do that and they end up going and winning the Super Bowl, all right, good on you. But, if you are the cocky team and the shit smirk team all season that's just continuously pummeling teams, and you end games with lifting your shirt and fuck this team, or going in the end zones and doing whatever, just beating up on teams and doing whatever you're doing, and then you go in the NFC Championship or Super Bowl and lose, you will hear it from that team that beats you and from all the fans. You will hear it. Oh,
yeah, so
boy.
don't let them beat you.
Yeah.
And like I said, right now, I don't know if this Niner team is going to lose anytime soon, but we'll talk about that in the next topic. But for now, just sort of other instances. I've been on the other end of it, Mike, as a 49er fan. I had to live with the Seahawks for like the past 10 years, like the past like 12, 13 years. And you know what I had to hear? I'm the best corner in the game. Don't you ever try me with a sorry receiver like Crabtree. That's the results you're going to get. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, all right, I was sure that the Niners would come back and, okay, you're going to get what's coming to you. And it never fucking happened. It never happened.
Not for a long time, yeah. Yeah,
Not for 10 years, like 2019.
Yeah,
but
and like I said, I had to explain my sense of fandom for sports because I'm an Oakland and now Las Vegas Raider fan who has endured through 15 years of suffering as a fan, just hoping for my team to win a playoff game that they have not done. An Oakland A's fan, a deteriorating Oakland A's fan. I don't even consider myself an Oakland A's fan right now. I really don't, because they've not even that they've consistently sucked. I mean, back in like 2014 or whatever, they were great, but for 1 year. But they would never win a playoff series. It's just like I'm a fan of these franchises, minus the Golden State Warriors, which I'm not all that into basketball like that. It was fun, but they got KD and it kind of just ruined it for me. Like, it was like, well, now it's just expected. And like I said, I wasn't that into it, but it's like the two teams that I've cared about most in my life are the Raiders and the A's, and they've always been the underdog, and it's like I've just never gotten to see it. So I just had to explain where I'm coming from, essentially. So my teams have gone through that shit. I'm just used to my teams not making the playoffs or getting to the playoffs and getting shat on. So I'd love to see my teams be that great team that can kick them while they're down, but I'm just going to know once they start doing it, I'm going to be like, dude, not smart. Not smart, because with my luck, it will bite me in the ass.
Don't tell me you wouldn't love for the Raiders to finally be dominant one day and then kick the shit out of either the Chiefs or the Broncos or whatever, and then somebody lift up and it's a fuck Denver or fuck Kansas City. Don't tell me you wouldn't eat it up. Like,
I would love it, but I would also be standing there going, okay, you better hope you don't play them later, because any given Sunday. I would love it as a fan, yes, but I would also sit there knowing that just made it more personal, like Michael Parsons said.
Mm-hmm.
It just made it more personal.
But it's like you said, it's what goes around comes around, or sort of what you've been implying is what goes around comes around, and I don't know if what's going to come around is going to come around anytime soon with this Niner team. I know that eventually this Niner team isn't. I mean, there's going to be years where we're not good again. Like, it's inevitable to happen. But like I said with the Seahawks thing, like, I endured that. I endured literally the season after. I'm like, oh, the Niners are going to make them pay. And then like they're freaking celebrating eating turkey on Thanksgiving, after completely like curb stomping the Niners on Thanksgiving. Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those things where now we can take our victory laps. And so you might as well take your victory laps while, like Fonzie said, when you're at the top or you feel that you're at the top, just have fun with it. Enjoy it while you're there. And I understand it's hard for, because you I think you have the reluctance to get too high because you've really believed in the Raiders a couple years where you're like, "Oh, you know what? This could actually happen." Like 2016, you were feeling really good about that Raider team. And then all of a sudden it just changed. Like one play can change it all.
Yeah. And that was actually something I was going to say. I don't know if Brock Purdy has been sacked yet this season. I feel like he hasn't.
No, he's been sacked.
He has, like, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen it. He got sacked a couple times against the Cowboys, or at least once.
Right. And probably the Steelers with TJ Watt. But what you said something, or maybe I just thought to myself, like, has Purdy been sacked? When we were talking about, like, when you said anything can happen, between now and the playoffs. And it's like I mentioned, the Eagles game where you guys lose 3 quarterbacks and it completely wrecked the game. What I immediately thought of, in the statement of anything can happen between now and playoffs or NFC Championship or Super Bowl, I thought of Derek Carr in 2016 when Donald Penn didn't give up a single sack the entire year. And then against the Colts in the third quarter or fourth quarter, I'm forgetting Trent Cole gets a nice little spin move on Donald Penn, gets the sack, wraps up Derek Carr, and in the process breaks his fibula. The one sack that Donald Penn gave up, one play changed their season. And I wasn't expecting the Super Bowl, but I was expecting a playoff win, finally, in my life. And it was ripped right away. We faced the fucking Texans. And that Texans team was, I think their quarterback was TJ, I don't even remember his last name. TJ something. If anybody remembers, that'd be great. But yeah, I'm pretty sure their quarterback was TJ something. He's essentially the old version of their current backup from Stanford, the guy that was starting last year.
I thought
Davis
the quarterback.
Mills. It wasn't Watson.
No, I thought the quarterback for the Texans that year was Matt Schaub.
No, because Matt Schaub was the quarterback who Derek Carr replaced, remember? Matt Schaub finished with the Raiders. And this was like year 2 or 3 with the, Derek Carr experience in Oakland. TJ, I keep wanting to say TJ Bell. It's a short last name I want to say.
I keep wanting to say TJ Yeldon, but he was a running back, right?
Yes. Okay, hold on. Texans.
While you look up
Yates. TJ Yates.
Yeah, I was close with the Y.
Yeah, once you said Yale, I was like, what? And then I was like, nah, it's running back.
Yeah,
but that's what that reminded me of, was just you guys could be like Trent Williams could go this entire season without giving up a sack, and then knock on wood, week 16 against whatever team, Brock Purdy goes down. Like anything, Christian, anybody, it can happen, and then it's changed, right?
Yeah,
that's what I thought of earlier. But
at least, all right. You knowing me, I am very pessimistic typically about like the chances and everything. Like I was reluctant to appoint the 49ers until I saw Brock Purdy and what he was able to do. And then like I've literally seen him come in, and I thought like maybe he peaked last season, but no, he's playing even better this season than last season.
And he's playing more efficiently. Like I said, the difference for this team compared to like 2019 is the offense, and specifically it is Purdy. And that could lead towards him getting the MVP. I also think McCaffrey is the big change. The other big difference. He could get the MVP. Their defense is not the strong suit this year. It's the offense, but their defense is arguably the best in the league. It's insane how good they are right now. But
yeah, but let's see. Let's get to recapping our predictions from last week on here. So we both predicted Niners. And I guess what goes around is going to come around to us because we're over here talking shit. No, I'm going to go ahead and fix this to D7. And we are both perfect picking the Niners every week. And you know, Mike, if you really feel like Niner fans are too cocky, why don't you pick against them?
Well,
you haven't had a week yet where you pick against them, huh?
Yeah.
I'm just being an asshole. Let's get to some comments and then we'll get to our final topic. Real quick, I have a couple starred. So Fonzie says the player in that picture is Gary Plummer, the original, fuck Dallas one.
Mm.
And then also I mentioned that we mopped the floor with the Cowboys, and he said, "Did we use Fabuloso or Mr. Clean?" Oh my God, that's hilarious. Trey shaved his head down like like a buzz cut, or like a buzz fade, and so he's almost kind of bald, but Prescott's kind of got the bald look, so I'm gonna go ahead and say we used Mr. Clean because just keeping the whole bald thing. Let's see here. You saw it on Kittle's shirt because it was him. Because to him, he's been a part of the rivalry that's been refreshed, and I also felt the same way about it too. So I agree with you there.
I get it as the callback for sure, and I also get it in the sense like the Cowboys are this annoying team that always gets all the media coverage, and most of the time they don't deserve it, and the Niners have owned the Cowboys the past, well, as long as this refreshed rivalry really has begun, so.
Well, I think regular season, that might have been the first time the Niners have beat the Cowboys at Levi's in the regular season.
Maybe. I wouldn't know.
But, I mean, it's just that these two teams have inflicted a lot of pain on each other. They've, had a lot of, like historic moments against one another. Yeah. So where they've eliminated each other from the playoffs as well. And, this, that, and the other. Right. So it's just been like one of those, it originated in the 80s and is like still a huge thing because our parents won't ever stop talking about it. It's like one of those things. So it's been refreshed, I'd say. But like at the same time, not really, because they don't play in the same division. They won't play like every season, although they have the past 3 seasons. And, I sort of had this feeling like the past couple of years, or like ever since I've been watching football, where I thought, man, do the Seahawks view us the way that we view them? You know what I mean? Like, do Seahawks fans look at it as much as a rivalry as we do? Because it's, like the Niners Seahawks thing over the past, like ever since I've been watching football, has been pretty one-sided in the Seahawks' favor. So like to them, it's just like, oh, we're playing the Niners. You know what I mean? But to us, it's like, oh, all this shit that's happened, it's personal. You know what I mean? Something that I just thought about.
Right. Well, at what felt like the beginning of the Seahawks like power, the Niners were right there with them to try to stop them, but usually wouldn't. And I feel like it's always been it has to be. They look at it like a rivalry, especially now when the Niners are winning consistently.
Mike, your knock on wood sounds like a please, baby Jesus.
Well, I wouldn't wish injury on anybody, and especially not McCaffrey or Purdy. So